The Super League encounter on May 24, 2025, saw a dominant Galatasaray travel to the Göztepe Axel Stadium in Izmir. They faced a Göztepe side looking to cause an upset against the league leaders. The atmosphere in Izmir was expectant. Fans hoped their home team could challenge the Istanbul Giants. However, Galatasaray arrived with a clear objective. They aimed to continue their impressive run of form. This match was another step in their already successful season. Their focus was sharp. From the very beginning, they intended to impose their style of play early on. The early exchanges of the match were somewhat tentative. Both teams spent the initial minutes sizing each other up. Göztepe, playing in front of their home supporters, showed some early intent. They tried to press Galatasaray in their own half. However, Galatasaray's composure was evident. They calmly played their way out of pressure. The champions did not seem flustered by Göztepe's initial energy. They patiently waited for opportunities to build their attacks. The midfield battle began to take shape, with both sides vying for control. It was a typical start to a keenly anticipated league fixture full of probing movements. It did not take long for Galatasaray to begin asserting their authority on the proceedings. Their superior quality started to show. They moved the ball with greater precision and speed. The midfield trio, orchestrated by the tireless Lucas Torreira, began to dictate the tempo. Göztepe found themselves increasingly pushed back into their own half. Galatasaray's fullbacks also started to venture forward more frequently. This added width to their attacks. The home side struggled to gain any meaningful possession. They were forced into a reactive mode quite early in the contest, a pattern that would define much of the game. Göztepe's initial strategy appeared to be one of containment. They seemed content to sit back and absorb pressure. Their primary aim was to remain defensively solid. They hoped to frustrate Galatasaray and perhaps catch them on the counter-attack. This approach meant their attacking players were often isolated. They found it difficult to link up effectively. Galatasaray's high press also made it challenging for Göztepe to build from the back. The home team's reliance on long balls was often met by Galatasaray's well-organized defense. This defensive stance would ultimately prove insufficient against a team of Galatasaray's caliber and attacking prowess. Galatasaray's mounting pressure eventually paid dividends in the 28th minute. The opening goal came from their star striker, Victor Osimhen. It was a moment of real quality. Kerem Demirbay played an exceptional through ball. The pass sliced through the Göztepe defensive line with pinpoint accuracy. Osimhen's movement was superb. He timed his run perfectly to stay onside. He then latched onto the pass and showed great composure. He finished clinically past the Göztepe goalkeeper. This goal was a testament to Galatasaray's patient build-up play and their ability to unlock a compact defense with individual brilliance and sharp attacking instincts. Following the goal, Galatasaray further cemented their control over the first half. They continued to dominate possession, often exceeding 60%. Lucas Torreira was instrumental in the midfield. He broke up Göztepe's sporadic attacks. He also initiated many of Galatasaray's forward moves. The team circulated the ball confidently. They switched play effectively from one flank to the other. This stretched the Göztepe defense. Göztepe found it incredibly difficult to get a foothold in the game. Their attempts to press were often bypassed by Galatasaray's slick passing. The league leaders looked comfortable and in command. Göztepe attempted to respond to going behind. They tried to show more attacking impetus. However, their efforts were largely thwarted by Galatasaray's robust defensive structure. Abdulkarim Bardakci marshalled the backline effectively. He ensured that Göztepe's counterattacks were dealt with efficiently. The home side struggled to create clear-cut chances. Their forwards were often left isolated. They received little support from their midfield. Galatasaray's midfielders worked hard to close down spaces. This prevented Göztepe from building any sustained periods of pressure. The discipline of the visiting side was clear for all to see. As the first half drew to a close, Galatasaray maintained their 1-0 lead. They looked entirely untroubled. Göztepe, despite their efforts, had been unable to seriously test Günay Guvunk in the Galatasaray goal. The visitors had controlled the tempo and the territory. Their goal was a deserved reward for their superiority. The halftime whistle blew, with Galatasaray firmly in the driver's seat. Göztepe's manager had a significant challenge ahead. He needed to devise a plan to disrupt Galatasaray's rhythm. The home side needed a much improved performance in the second period to get back into the match. Göztepe emerged for the second half with a slightly more adventurous approach. They knew they needed to take more risks to find an equaliser. They pushed higher up the pitch. They tried to apply more pressure on the Galatasaray defence. This change in approach did lead to a more open game. There were more transitions and counter-attacking opportunities for both sides. Göztepe showed greater urgency in their play. They attempted to move the ball forward more quickly. However, this attacking intent also left them more vulnerable at the back. Galatasaray's experienced players were quick to notice these emerging spaces. This vulnerability was ruthlessly exploited by Galatasaray in the 65th minute. Barış Yılmaz doubled their lead with a spectacular strike. The goal came from a swift counter-attack. Roland Salai provided the crucial assist. He found Yılmaz in a good position. Yılmaz then unleashed an unstoppable shot. The ball flew into the top corner of the net. The Göztepe goalkeeper had no chance of saving it. This goal was a critical blow to Göztepe's hopes of a comeback. It showcased Galatasaray's ability to punish teams on the break. Their clinical finishing was once again on display for everyone watching. With a 2-goal cushion, Galatasaray managed the remainder of the match with consummate professionalism. Their dominance became even more pronounced. They continued to control possession. They dictated the pace of the game. Göztepe's players appeared deflated after conceding the second goal. Their attacking efforts became more sporadic and less threatening. Galatasaray's defence, led by the commanding Abdülkerim Bardakçı, remained resolute. They comfortably dealt with any Göztepe attacks. The organisation and discipline of the Galatasaray unit were exemplary. They gave very little away to their opponents. In the final stages, Galatasaray focused on seeing out the game. They maintained their defensive shape. They also looked for opportunities to add a third goal, though without overcommitting. Göztepe, to their credit, continued to fight. However, they lacked the quality to break down Galatasaray's well-drilled defensive lines. The visitors made a few substitutions to bring on fresh legs. This helped them maintain their intensity. The match concluded with Galatasaray securing a comfortable 2-0 victory. It was a thoroughly deserved win. Their performance was dominant from start to finish. Galatasaray's tactical setup was a key factor in their comprehensive victory. They employed a fluid 4-3-3 formation. This system allowed them to control the midfield. Lucas Torreira, as the holding midfielder, provided excellent cover for the defence. He also initiated attacks with his precise passing. The formation gave freedom to attacking players like Victor Osimhen, Barış Yılmaz, and Yunus Akun. They constantly troubled the Göztepe defence with their movement and interplay. Kerem Demirbay and Roland Salai also played crucial roles. They provided creativity and assists from midfield and wide areas, respectively. The tactical approach was spot on for this encounter. In contrast, Göztepe opted for a 4-4-2 formation. This setup proved to be too defensive against a dominant Galatasaray side. While it aimed to provide solidity, it often left their two strikers isolated. They struggled to link up with the midfield. This made it difficult for Göztepe to build sustained attacks or create meaningful scoring opportunities. Their reliance on counterattacks was largely ineffective. Galatasaray's organised defence and quick transitions often neutralised these threats. The tactical battle was clearly won by Galatasaray. Their system allowed them to express their superiority across the pitch effectively. Several Galatasaray players delivered standout performances. Victor Osimhen was rightly named man of the match. He scored the crucial opening goal. His overall play was a constant menace to the Göztepe defenders. Barış Yılmaz also had a significant impact. He scored a brilliant second goal. His energy and directness were vital for Galatasaray's attack. Lucas Torreira's control in midfield was immense. He dictated the tempo and broke up opposition play consistently. Defensively, Abdülkerim Bardakçı was a rock. He ensured Göztepe had very few clear sights of goal. Even Günay Gövünk, deputising in goal, made important saves when called upon. This 2-0 victory had significant implications for the Super League standings. For Galatasaray, it solidified their position at the top of the table. They moved to 92 points from 35 matches. Having already clinched their record 25th Super League title, This win was a further demonstration of their dominance throughout the season. For Göztepe, the defeat meant they remained in a mid-table position. They sat in 8th place with 47 points. The result highlighted the gap between the champions and the rest of the league. Galatasaray's consistent excellence was once again on full display.
If you enjoyed the analysis, smash that like button, hit subscribe for more match breakdowns, and don't forget to comment below. Who was your man of the match? See you in the next one, football fans. Until then, stay passionate, stay tactical.